In South Sudan, where 2 years of civil war have forced people to survive on tree leaves and berries, food drops from humanitarian aid groups make the difference between life and death.
We don't want to leave this place. It is our homeland.
And in Syria, where 5 million are refugees and 7 million are internally displaced, medical services and food also come from groups like the Red Crescent.
The quantity is good, it's acceptable, but we need the aid to be continuous and permanent.
But it's not continuous or permanent. In fact, the UK's Charity Finance Group says as many as 300 charities have had their bank accounts cancelled or money transfers delayed because of stricter banking regulations broadly known as de-risking.
The difficulties they've had in transferring money have meant that projects have been delayed. Sometimes vital humanitarian assistance hasn't reached its final destination. Some charities and NGOs had to think about pulling back altogether from some quite high-risk zones like Syria or South Sudan or Somalia.
After the September 11th terror attacks and in the wake of the Arab Spring, government regulators began to crack down on money transfers in an effort to keep the funds out of the hands of terror groups.
Charities need to communicate a lot better with their banks to make sure they understand the nature of the work that they're doing, the due diligence procedures that they undertake in order to protect their assets, and also to understand some of the concerns that banks have about the risk of resources falling into the wrong hands.
A World Bank report released last October shows nearly half of the 82 money transfer operators surveyed have lost their bank accounts over issues of profitability and regulatory scrutiny.
These problems aren't man-made. They can be solved by man-made institutions like governments and regulators if they have the willingness to do so, but it requires them to be realistic.
Because while charities and NGOs can mitigate the risks of delivering aid in conflict zones, Andrew O'Brien says they can never eliminate it.